Hello. Hi. Hi. Hope you're doing well. Hello. Hi. Hi. I'm greeting you. Hi, hello, because I want you to feel welcome, and feeling welcome makes you feel like you are invited and welcome to watch this video and to experience this kind of moment together. And that's why you want to say hi. Because if you say hi, that can make that happen. That can make that welcomeness come out from the screen and into your mind, and no one can feel relaxed if they don't feel welcome, so I want to welcome you, and you can say hi, you can say hello, you can say I am CJ SMR. You wouldn't want to say CJ SMR because you're not CJ SMR. I am CJ SMR, but you're not, so maybe you wouldn't want to say CJ SMR. If you're GB ASMR, you say, hi, I'm GB ASMR, but you wouldn't want to say that because you're not GB. I'm assuming you might be GB. If you're GB, I'm sorry that you accidentally clicked on this, but if you're ASMR darling, you go, hey, it's me, ASMR darling. But you're not ASMR darling. Again, if you are ASMR darling, sorry that you accidentally clicked on this, but if you are starting a channel and you're wanting to do ASMR, you would say your name. You could say someone else's name, but it would almost feel pointless because that's not who you are. So you could say, I'm not GB ASMR, and that would be a true statement. So maybe that could work. You could do that if you'd like. But basically, you need some sort of welcoming intro like that. And hi is pretty common. I think most people start off in a conversation with hi. So I would highly recommend it. Now basically, once you get past that few seconds of saying hi or hello or I am CJSMR, but again, you're not CJSMR, so you wouldn't say that. You want to make sure you're not around people that are going to be really annoying and rev their engines really hard because they don't have any friends, but you're not going to be that way because that's not you. Anyways, decompress when frustration hits you, because frustration is going to hit you doing this, because recording is very hard sometimes. Recording is very difficult because you sometimes have neighbors that have dogs, or neighbors that have speakers, or sometimes you just have neighbors that are just really loud themselves and are screaming at their mothers on the phone and being ungrateful. And when that happens, it's really hard to record. It's really tough to record sometimes if you don't have a soundproof room. I do not have a soundproof room. I hope I can get a soundproof room. If I had a soundproof room, then I would have a soundproof room. But I don't have one, so I don't have a soundproof room, obviously. So recording has to be very specific sometimes. I have to find times where my roommates are at work because I don't want to bother them. I want them to enjoy their movies, their TV, their music, all of that. And I don't want to impose. And also, the air conditioning can be very loud sometimes. So sometimes I like to wait till they're gone so I can turn it off. Or I try to figure out some solution like covering up them with blankets or something. So if you have air conditioning, you can either not have it, that's an option, or you can have it and try to cover it up and try to soundproof your room a little bit. But if you don't have a soundproof room, it's really hard. And I obviously don't have one because it would be soundproofed if it was a soundproofed room. Okay, so now that we got through that, you need some sort of recording device. Okay, I have a camera. You might have a camera, and you could use that camera if you wanted to. Some people don't want their face on screen. You might be one of those people. I might be one of those people. I'm not one of those people, but I could have been. So if I didn't want my face on screen, you wouldn't need a camera. You only need a camera if you want your face on screen. Unless you're trying to record maybe your hands, or maybe your feet. If you're wanting to go down that route, I would recommend not going down that route, but to each his own. Basically, when you want to record with a camera, you have to make sure it's facing you, because if it's not facing you, then you can't see anything. If it's facing a wall, a blank wall, they can't see you, and then there's no point of having the camera, unless you're going for that feel. Remember, there is exceptions to every rule here, okay? Every rule. You want to make sure you're taking deep breaths, and you're getting that air out in a nice, healthy way, because you don't want to be holding your breath. If you're holding your breath, it can sometimes feel like you're hyperventilating and running out of breath. And that means that you don't have much breath left. So, when you need pauses, take pauses. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So you have a camera. You have a recording device. Now remember, if you're wanting to film your face, you should face the camera towards your face. This little thing right here is facing towards my face now. It's facing towards my face. My face is right here. The camera's right there. You are right there, and I'm right here, because this is my face, and it's facing my face, the camera. Because if my camera wasn't facing my face, it would look like this. And this doesn't look very good, unless that's what you're going for. Remember, there are exceptions to every rule. There are exceptions. If you specifically want to film the back of somebody's head, you can do that. I don't want to do that because I don't know what's on the back of my head. There could be a sign. There could be endless amount of things. There could be a puppy. There could be a kitten. Who knows what could be behind my head? So I don't want to film that because it's unpredictable. It's unpredictable. It's unpredictable. Rest breath. Now, you have the recording device. It's facing your face. If you want your face to be faced towards, and you want your face on camera. If not, make it face towards your hands, or towards your feet, if you want to go down that route. Again, I would not recommend it, but to each its own. Once you have it facing the place that you want it to face, you can turn it on. Now, turning it on is not like you would do a human. There's actually a button on the camera. The button is not in the front. Depending on the camera, it's in the back. My button is in the back of my camera. You have to find the power button, and then you'll have to find the button that starts recording. Now, the starting recording button also tends to be in the back. And when you start the recording, there should be a red blinking light. A red blinking light. A red blinking light. And if that is blinking red, it means you're recording. My camera, when it blinks red, means that it's recording. So I know that when it's blinking red, it is recording, in fact. Deep breath. Relax. But when my camera has a straight, just solid red light on, that means it's charging. So learning the difference between charging and recording is important. If it's just straight red and it's not blinking, it may be charging. If it is blinking, then it may be recording. Find out what works for your camera. Of course, to each its own. Now, once it's recording, you need to make sure you have a microphone, something to record with, because ASMR videos with no sound sometimes can don't do as well as ASMR videos with sound. You could make an argument that it doesn't matter for some people because some people can't hear anything anyways. That's true. If you want to make content for those people, best to you. To each its own, of course. Now, when you have a microphone, this is my microphone. This looks like a little fuzz ball. It's because there's fuzz on the outside, but underneath is a microphone. And as you can hear, when I'm touching closer to the microphone, you can hear it closer as well. I can put my mouth really up close here in your left ear, and really in your right ear. And I can also be kind of further away, in your right ear over here, in your left ear over here. Now, when you're editing, it's very important, and this is kind of jumping ahead, but this is the right side. But my camera doesn't mirror that. This is your left ear, but my camera doesn't mirror that. So what you want to do is you want to flip. If you flip it, then when I go to your left ear, it looks like it's in your left ear. And when I go to your right ear, it looks like it's in your right ear. That's an important thing. Some people don't care about that or even notice it, but some people do. Again, to each its own. Now, when you have the microphone, you need to figure out if you need cords to be plugged in. Some microphones run on batteries, and some microphones run on cords. Now, when I say cords, I mean like cables and actual physical cords, not cords like you would use in music, for example. Those are metaphorical chords because they are triads and they are notes stacked on top of each other to make a chord. It's spelled differently, so make sure you learn how to spell it correctly when you're looking up chords online. Once you have the correct chords for your microphone, you need to plug it into something that will then record the audio. There's that chord again, but it's in record which means to capture the audio or the video for a certain amount of time, and then it holds it in this little storage in bytes, and then you can edit it and you can upload it to YouTube, or to TikTok, any software that you want to put your videos and audios at. Now, I have it plugged into my MacBook computer. My MacBook computer uses Logic Pro X to record. Now, Logic is its short name, is what I will be calling it. It's not like the metaphysical logic, or metaphorical, rather, logic, which is meaning like to have reason or to have understanding of something. It is a physical program, software program, that records audio. You can make music with it, and you can make podcasts with it, or you can make ASMR with it, because it just records audio. So, it does not record video. You need to remember that. Logic records audio and not video. If you want to use Logic, you can record audio with it, but you need a separate device to record video. Me, again, I have my camera, and when the red light is blinking, that means it's recording audio. And when it's video, and when it's recording video, that means it's also recording audio, but the audio from the camera is not what I want. I want audio from the microphone. And that's why we have a microphone and a program that records the audio from the microphone. There's many different ways you can do this. You can have a physical audio recorder that you can plug into the microphone, or you can have this MacBook. Not this MacBook, probably your own MacBook. I most likely will not be sending you my MacBook so you can record audio on it, but who knows? To each its own, of course. You can use another computer. You can use your phone if you want to use your phone and cords that plug into your ears and have a microphone for your phone. You can use that too. Again, to each its own. It's all about the type of content you would like to make specifically as a creator. Okay, so now we have video, audio, and the recording software. I can hear myself with the headphones plugged in, so that makes it nice and tingly for you. So I know that the levels aren't too high or they're not too low, and I hope that they're just right. Now, you need something to record. You need some sort of event to happen. Right now, I am explaining the steps of how to become an ASMRtist and what you need to record ASMR. Now, when you have all that set up, of course, you need ASMR to record. One thing could be this, just simply speaking, ranting, inaudible whispers, kind of like that's inaudible, or you can do whispers like this from ear to ear. You can do soft-spoken role plays that are just straight on, and you can do many things. You can do audio triggers that don't require your voice at all, and those can be different triggers, and one is like this, tapping. You can be tapping. And you can be tapping and speaking from ear to ear. There's many things you can do with this. Tapping is when you use a finger. Here's a finger. This is what a finger looks like. It doesn't have to be this one. It can be this one. Oh, my apologies. It can also be this one or this one. They each make sort of different sounds. You can do one at a time. Or you can do multiple at a time. I have found that multiple at a time tends to be the most tingly. Although it depends what you want your ASMR to be. Again, to each its own. Now, finding creative things to do with it can be like doing this. Where I'm just touching so lightly, tapping so lightly. It almost sounds like rain falling. all about finding what you specifically want to be as an ASMRtist. Now make sure it doesn't smell like Alfredo, because that can make you sick if it's too early in the morning. And then a tapping thing that's important. You can have one object like that, but if you change up the objects, that can really increase the tingles. Now with glass, you can do many things. There's kind of just flat tapping. There is resonant tapping, where you get little pitches in there. Now make sure you speak clearly, because I said pitches, not pitches. Okay? Because if you say pitches, then you might say pitches on accident, and people will think that you said pitches, and then it's just too much to deal with. I find that going fast and then slow and changing up the tempo can be really, really nice. And going from different types of tapping on the same object can be really soothing. Now when you feel like it's been enough time, and enough time has elapsed of a specific trigger, and you feel like you need to move on, you can in fact move on. You don't have to move on, but you are able to if you want, if you like. Now the next thing is visual triggers that are important. Now, there are many different types of visual triggers. I would suggest one, though, very common, is a pen light. A medical pen light is really, really nice. This one was just purchased from me. I purchased this. No one else purchased this. This was me. And I found that it's very soothing to watch. Now if you do straight on, it can get pretty bright. And some people like that. But I also think some people don't. So personally, if it's just a little nice like this, where you can see the illumination, it's really, really soothing. Just like this. Go up slowly. Draw some shapes, maybe. You can even make them guess. Why, yes, that was a trapezoid. Flip it around so they don't have to look on the same side of the screen. And you can talk in the right and left ear. As long as your movement is slow and not fast. Some people like fast movements. Some people like that. But slow can be really nice. As long as it's slow, it can be soothing. If it's not slow, it cannot be soothing, but it also can't be soothing if it's not slow. It really depends what you want. Again, to each its own. You can try this on your face, but that might look a little weird. And then you can try it in their face if you want. Get streaks. It's all about finding what you like. And this is using light. This is a light trigger. Not as in, like, it's not very heavy, but it's just using light which is shining from the tip of this pen, and just the tip. You could get a light that shines from other places than just the tip, but I prefer just the tip ones. When it's just the tip, I find it's the most soothing. And you even get nice clicking sounds out of that as well. There are many, many triggers you can do. You just have to get creative. Or you don't have to be. Whatever you like, again. To each its own. Another sort of visual trigger you can do is face brushing. And you can just brush the face for them. Now this can be soothing, because people like visual triggers. One thing you might want to do that I would suggest is something like this. If you zoom in nice and close, then you can get better face brushing. You can just get better at it, and you can go across like this, and it feels like it's more on the viewer's face. Now the face is this part of the viewer. You gotta remember that, because the eyes are the camera lens. The eyes are the camera lens, so the mouth is not the camera lens. So if you're going to be doing kissing ASMR, you have to make a very important choice of kissing the lens for the visual trigger, or kissing beneath the lens for the realistic trigger. Either one works. Again, to each its own. I find kissing triggers works hand in hand with the feet triggers if you're going to be filming your feet and want to go down that road. Now, if you really want to be nice and special when it comes to face brushing, instead of zooming in, you can just get closer and actually brush the lens. And this is what that looks like. And it can be relaxing. And it can be really, really nice. And you can try to do it no looker like this. And it might turn out really good, or it might turn out really bad. I would suggest learning how your camera zooms in and zooms out so you can do each of these triggers. Now my last example of a visual trigger is going to be hand movements. These can be very, very enjoyable for people to watch, because they're watching with their eyes and not another part of their body. So when they're watching with their eyes, visual triggers can be really, really nice. And it can be going and trying to grab them. It can be going trying to grab them, or you can try to pluck, 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 which is this short, quick movement. Notice that I am doing visual triggers as well as audio triggers at the same time. When I pluck, I go, which is a sound I'm making with my mouth, not my hands. You might not be able to tell, but it is my mouth, because you might be focusing on my hands. Now, eye contact is very important. If you have a camera that has a screen, which is a thing that will show you what the camera is capturing. I have one right next to my camera that I can look at, but then it does not look like my eye line is meeting your eye line, which the eye line, remember, is where the camera lens is. This is where the camera lens is from the viewer. So if you look in their eyes, it can feel more intimate, more relaxing, and more comforting. I have a camera there. I also have a screen right there. And I don't want to look at that screen, because then you can tell that I'm not looking and paying attention towards you. That screen down there is just to make sure that the setup looks really nice and that it looks fine on a big screen, because sometimes what looks fine on a small screen doesn't look good on a big screen. And a small screen is smaller than a big screen, obviously. So when you have a big screen, it can look different than when it's on a small screen. So I make sure that I have a big screen to look to make sure that everything looks set up, that you can't see the sides of my room, that it's just the backdrop, that it's lit nice, that my silhouette is nicely lit as well. And the last thing to be an ASMRtist is to enjoy yourself. Have fun with it. And that means not to not enjoy yourself, because if you're not enjoying it, it's not for you. Things like this, you have to love the work as much as